Student, welcome in this lecture. So in this lecture, we will talk about the transpiration. Okay. So see the transpiration. Okay, transpiration. So student, what is meant by transpiration? The transpiration means simply it is the removal of the water uh, from the aerial portion of plant body in the form of the water vapor. It is called as a transpiration. Okay. So remember, student, the transpiration process, it is concerned with the aerial portion of plant body, and that process it is takes place in presence of light. Okay, in presence of light. So the transpiration means it is a removal of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial portion of plant body. It is called as a transpiration. So remember, student, this the plant absorb whatever the water absorbed by the plant. So suppose the plant absorb the water. Suppose the absorbed water, okay, absorbed water, it is the 100%. Okay, it is 100%. Okay, then from this only the 5% water, okay, only the 5% water, it is utilized, okay, it is utilized for its own metabolic process. Okay, metabolic process. Yes, it is utilized for its own metabolic process. As far as the growth and the other activities of that plants are concerned. Okay, then the remaining, the 95%, okay, 95% water, it is released through the, it is released through the transpiration. Okay, it is released through this transpiration. Not only the 95% water, it is released only through the transpiration. But remember, the 95% water, it is released, okay, released in atmosphere. Okay, it is released in atmosphere. So from this, the 95% water, remember, student, the 1% water, okay, from this, the 1% water, it is removed in the form of a water droplets. Okay, it is removed, okay, removed in the form of the water droplets. It is removed in the form of water droplets. So student, this process, it is called as the guttation. Okay, that process, it is called as a guttation. So guttation, it is the process in which the water, it is removed in the form of a water droplets. So only the 1% water, it is removed in the form of the water droplets. Means as it is, the water, they are removed from the plant body. Okay, remember the portion from where guttation takes place, that gland, it is called as a chalk glands, or it is also called as hydatodes. So hydatodes, from the hydatodes, the water, they are gutted in the form of a water droplets. Okay, so such type of the loss, it is only the 1%. Okay, only 1%. Then remaining loss in the atmosphere, it is 99% water, it is removed through the transpiration. Okay, it is removed through the transpiration. So remember, student, this the water, it is removed in the form of water vapor from the plant body. It is a maximum amount. Okay, it is in a maximum amount. That means 99% of water, it is removed in the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. And only the few amount, means 1% water, it is removed in the form of water droplets. Okay. So in all total, the 95% of water it is not utilized by the plant. Okay, means from the total absorbed water, suppose the amount of water absorbed it is 100%. Okay, and from that the 95% water it is released in the atmosphere, and only the 5% water, okay, only the 5% water it is utilized for the metabolic processes of the plant. Okay, metabolic processes of the plant means whatever the growth, repair, maintenance, for that the water is utilized. I think you understand well. Whatever the water absorbed by the plant, from that water only the few amount of water it is utilized for its own process, and maximum water it is released in the atmosphere. So remember student, see the water released in the atmosphere from the three sides of the plant body. Okay, from the three sides of plant body. So what are those sides? The water released from the plant body from these three sides. Okay, from the three, okay, three sides. Okay, from the three sides. So what is the first side? The first side it is the cuticle. Okay, cuticle it is the first side. The second side it is the lenticels. Okay, lenticels, and the third side it is stomata. Okay, third side it is the stomata. So remember, the plant they release the water in the form of water vapor from its three sides. Okay, what are those? The first side it is cuticle, second side it is lenticels, and the third side it is this stomata. Okay, so see the first one it is the cuticle. Okay, so on the basis of these sides, the transpiration, there are three types. Okay, there is a three types of transpiration. There is a three types of the transpiration. So in that three types of transpiration, the first type of transpiration on the basis of the site from where the water they are released in the form of water vapor. So on the basis of that, the transpiration there are three types. The first one it is the cuticular, okay, transpiration. Cuticular transpiration. This cuticular transpiration, okay, it is takes place from the cuticle. Okay, it is takes place from the cuticle. So the transpiration it is takes place from the cuticle of the plant body. Okay, cuticle of the plant body. So where that cuticle is situated, remember student, all over the entire aerial portion of plant body, there is a deposition of thin waxy cuticle over the epidermis. Okay, so there is a deposition of the thin waxy cuticle. Okay, thin waxy cuticle over the entire aerial portion of the plant body. So whatever the aerial portion of plant body is there, means the stem, branches and leaf. So over that entire aerial portion, just outside the epidermis, the thin waxy cuticle is deposited, and from that cuticle, when the water is removed in the form of water vapor, it is called as a cuticular transpiration. Okay, remember student, that cuticular transpiration, they constitute about the 8 to 10% of the total transpiration. Okay, 8 to 10% of the total transpiration. So remember student, when we consider the entire transpiration is 100% through the cuticle, lenticels and the stomata. So the cuticular transpiration, they contribute the 8 to 10%. Remember, this transpiration rate through the cuticle, it is inversely proportional to the thickness of the cuticle. Okay, it is inversely proportional. So remember, this transpiration, okay, transpiration, okay, transpiration is inversely, okay, inversely proportional to the thickness of cuticle. Okay, thickness of the cuticle. So remember this the transpiration is inversely proportional to thickness of cuticle, in the sense when the thickness of the cuticle increases, the rate of transpiration decreases. Okay, thickness of cuticle increases, the rate of transpiration decreases. Means what? When there is a very thin cuticle, the rate of transpiration will be maximum, and when there is a thick cuticle, the rate of transpiration, it is the minimum. For instance, in case of xerophytic plant, the cuticle is very thick. Okay, cuticle is very thick. So there, the transpiration rate, it is very low or it is negligible. Means cuticular transpiration is negligible in case of xerophytic plant, because they are having the thick waxy cuticle. But in case of the mesophytic plant, that waxy cuticle is very thin. So the rate of transpiration in mesophyte, it is the maximum or it is higher. Okay, it is higher. Then the next type of the transpiration, it is the lenticular transpiration. Okay, next type it is the lenticular transpiration. So the second type of the transpiration, it is lenticular transpiration. Just we saw the cuticular transpiration, and the next one, it is the lenticular transpiration. Okay, lenticular transpiration. Okay, student, this is the lenticular transpiration. Remember, this lenticular transpiration, it is takes place through the lenticels. Okay, through the lenticels. Okay, through the lenticels. So what are the lenticels? Remember, these are the minute pore-like openings. Okay, these are the minute pore-like openings. This opening, they are present in the bark of the woody stem. They are present in the bark of woody stem, and also they are reported over the pericarp of the woody fruits. Over the pericarp of the woody fruit. म्हणजे एक मॅच्युअर जी ब्रांच असते की जी ज्याच्यामध्ये हार्ड वूड डेव्हलप झालेलं असतं, अशा ब्रांचच्या बार्क मध्ये, ह्या बार्क वरती लेंटिसल्स डेव्हलप झालेलं असतं. सो व्हॉट इज दॅट लेंटिसल्स? Suppose this is the woody branch. Okay, this is the woody branch, and it shows the properly developed wood. Okay, and they are having a cis type of the bark. Okay, they are having a cis type of the thick bark. Okay, then over that bark, a cis type of the minute eruptions are seen. Okay, and that structure, it is called as the lenticels. Okay, lenticels, or that lenticels, it is reported over the pericarp of the woody fruit. In case of the Feronia elephantum, means मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला कवट म्हणतो. कवटामध्ये त्याचं जे फ्रूट वॉल आहे ते हार्ड आणि वुडी असतं, त्याच्यावरती तुम्हाला ह्या लेंटिसल्स त्याच्यामध्ये दिसतात. बरोबर? सो रिमेंबर the woody fruit, the pericarp of the woody fruit, they also shows the presence of lenticels. So what is that structure of lenticels? at the lenticel site, the epidermal cells are broken. Okay, so this is the broken epidermal cell. Okay, so this is the epidermis which are broken. So this is the epidermis. Okay, this is epidermis, and because of this broken portion of the epidermis, the minute eruption or the pore-like structure it is developed. Okay, then it is followed by the cork cell. Remember, cork cells, these are the dead cells, and that cork cells, they take part in the formation of bark. Okay, bark. So that cork cell, so this is the position of these cork cells. Okay, these are the dead cells. Okay, they show the deposition of the secondary compounds, and these are the cork cells which are present over the just below the epidermis. So all these are the cork cells. Okay, broken cork cells which are present just toward the lower side of the broken epidermis. So these are the cork cells. So remember, these are the cork cells. Okay, these are the cork cells. Then this cork cells, it is followed by the loosely arranged the cortical cells. Okay, loosely arranged. These are the cortical cells. Okay, and actually it is followed by there is a presence of the compactly arranged cortex, and that cortical cells, they are thin-walled parenchymatous. Okay, they are thin-walled parenchymatous cortical cells, they are present. So all these are the cortical cells. So remember, these loosely arranged cortical cells, these are called as the complementary cells. Okay, these are the loose complementary cells. These are the loose complementary cells. Okay, so remember student, these are the loose complementary cells. Then what happened? So because of the broken epidermis, this portion, okay, this portion, they show a slightly eruption over the surface of that the bark, okay, bark of woody stem. जसं की त्या स्टेमची जी साल आहे त्या सालीवरती छोटे पुरळ आल्यासारखे दिसतात. छोटे छोटे असे उंचवटे आल्यासारखे दिसतात, कारण इथे एपिडर्मिस ब्रेक झालेला असता, आणि बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट एरिया it is slightly raised. Okay, slightly raised. So that structure, these are called as the lenticels. Then remember student, from these lenticels the transpiration rate is very low, that is 1 to 0.1. Okay, 0.1 to 1%. Okay, 1%. So this much amount of the transpiration, it is seen through these lenticels. Okay, it is seen through the lenticels, because this portion in the presence of light they are directly exposed, and the very few amount of the water it is released from these cortical cells, and again from these intercellular spaces or from these loosely arranged cells, the water it is released from the lenticels, and that release of water, it is only the 0.1% to 1%. Okay, 0.1 to 1%. So near about that transpiration rate is very low. That means up to the 1%. Okay, up to 1%. So this is the second type of transpiration. It is called a lenticular transpiration. Okay, it is a lenticular transpiration. Then the third type of transpiration, it is the stomatal transpiration. So this stomatal transpiration, see the stomatal transpiration. So the third type of transpiration, it is the stomatal transpiration. So third one, it is the stomatal, okay, stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration. So student, this stomatal transpiration, it is takes place through the stomata. It is takes place through stomata, and the transpiration rate through stomata is maximum. It is 90 to 93%. It is 90 to 93%. Okay. So remember, this stomatal transpiration rate is maximum. It is 90 to 93%. Okay. And then question arises, where the stomata they are situated. Student, you are aware with the location of the stomatal opening. The stomatal opening, they are located in the leaves. Okay, they are located in the leaves. The stomata, they are present in the leaves. But remember, they are present in case of the herbaceous plant. No doubt the stomata, they are present in the leaves, but along with that, they are also reported in the young stem and the leaves. They are also reported in the young stem and the leaves. But in case of the higher plants, the stomata, they are only reported in the leaves. Okay, they are only reported in the leaves. So on the basis of the occurrence of stomata in the leaf, the leaves, they are of three types. Okay, leaves, they are of three types. But before going toward the type of leaves on the basis of the occurrence of stomata, just we see about the leaf. See the leaf. Suppose this is the any type of the leaf. Suppose this is any type of leaf. Say suppose this is the leaf. Okay, this is the any leaf. In this, so suppose this is the leaf. Where this is leaf. Then this, what is this side? This side, it is a dorsal side. Okay, this is the dorsal side, and means the side of leaf which are directed toward the sunlight, or which are facing toward the sunlight. That side, it is called as the dorsal side. And this side, okay, this side means the side which is away from the sunlight, or the side which is faces toward the soil. That side, it is called as the ventral side. Okay, ventral side. So dorsal side and ventral side. Okay, dorsal side and ventral side. See, this dorsal side. So on the basis of this same, so this is the structure. This is the leaf. They are in the dorsal side and they are in the ventral side. Then what we have to discuss here? We have to discuss on the basis of the presence of stomata. The leaves, there are three types. The first one, first type of the leaf, it is called as the epistomatic leaf. Okay, first one, it is the epistomatic leaf. Epistomatic. Okay, epistomatic leaf. Okay, epistomatic leaf. Epi means above. Okay, epi means above, and stomatic, stoma means this. Stomatic means stomata. Okay, see, in this leaf, the stomata, they are situated toward the dorsal side of leaf. Okay, dorsal side of leaf. That leaf, it is called as an epistomatic leaf. Okay, epistomatic leaf. Remember where it is seen? It is seen in case of lotus. Okay, in case of lotus. लोटस म्हणजे कमळामध्ये की जे पाण्यामध्ये वाढतं. सो इट इज द हायड्रोफाइट. ओके, इट इज द हायड्रोफाइट. So in the hydrophyte, especially in case of the lotus, the stomata, they are situated all along its dorsal side. Means the side which are faces toward the sunlight. That side, toward that side, the stomatal openings are situated. Remember, student, this is the peculiar characters shown by the lotus plant. Okay, lotus plant, because you know that in the lotus, suppose this is the water and that lotus leaf, okay, that lotus leaf, they are present over this the water. Okay, they are present over this water, and this dorsal side, okay, dorsal side in the lotus, they are directed toward the sunlight. Okay, they are directed toward the sunlight, and this ventral side, they directly come in contact with the water. So this side it is the complete water. Okay, this side it is complete water, and this dorsal side they are directed toward the sunlight. So the gaseous exchange takes place from the dorsal side of the leaf in case of lotus. So in case of lotus, that the leaves are the epistomatic. Okay, that leaves are the epistomatic. See the next type of the leaf. It is the hypostomatic. So the next one, it is the hypostomatic. Okay, hypostomatic leaf. Okay, hypostomatic. Hypo. Okay, what is hypo? Hypo means below. Hypo means below. So in this hypostomatic leaf, the stomata, they are situated on the ventral side of the leaf. On the ventral side. So student, what is that ventral side? The ventral side means the side which are away from the sunlight, or the side which are directed towards the soil surface, that side. We have to say, in case of the hypostomatic leaf, the stomata, they are situated on the lower epidermis of leaf. Okay, it is also called as a lower epidermis. In case of the epistomatic, the stomata, they are situated all along the upper epidermis of the leaf, means side which are faces toward the sunlight. And in case of the hypostomatic, they are present below the leaf, in the sense toward the ventral side, or all along the lower epidermis of the leaf. That type of the leaf, it is called as a hypostomatic. Then that hypostomatic leaf, where it is seen? Where it is seen? It is seen in case of the नेरियम. Example, in case of नेरियम. नेरियम मराठीमध्ये आपण याला कन्हेर म्हणतो. कन्हेर हे कसं आहे? हे झिरोफाइटिक प्लांट आहे. ओके, सो इन केस ऑफ झिरोफाइट, okay, in case of xerophyte, the stomata, they are situated toward the ventral side of leaf, because again this is a one more xerophytic character, because directly the light come in contact with the dorsal side, and when the stomata, they are situated all along its ventral side, then the transpiration rate will be checked. So this is the reason behind this, toward the situation of the stomata all along its the lower epidermis. So in your textbook, the example is given, that is a nerium. In the nerium, the stomata, they are situated all along its the lower epidermis, all along its lower epidermis, and this is the xerophytic character, or in the xerophyte, the stomata, they are situated all along its the lower epidermis, and that leaves are the hypostomatic. The third type of leaf, it is the amphistomatic. Okay, the third type of leaf, it is the amphistomatic. So see, what is the amphistomatic? Amphistomatic. Okay, third type of leaf, it is amphistomatic. Amphi, okay, amphi means both the side, both the side. Okay, both the side means in the amphistomatic leaf, the stomata, they are situated on both the side of leaf, means toward the dorsal side and toward the ventral side, or toward the upper epidermis and toward the lower epidermis. It is seen in case of the example, in case of grass. Okay, in case of grass, the stomata, they are situated on the both the epidermis, means toward the dorsal side means toward the upper epidermis, and toward the ventral side means toward the lower epidermis. And such a type of the stomatal situation, it is seen in case of the mesophyte. Okay, mesophyte. So the mesophyte, these are the plant. They grow in a mesophytic environmental condition where there is a availability of the adequate amount of the required thing, in the sense the availability of the nutrient, availability of the water and minerals, and availability of the rainfall, and they are having the suitable light intensity. Under such a favorable situation, when the plants are growing, that plants are called as a mesophytic plants. Okay, so in mesophytic plants, the stomata they are seen on the both the side of leaf. So that leaf, it is called as a amphistomatic leaf. So student, what we are seeing the rate of transpiration from where it is more from the stomata. Okay, it is 90 to 93%. Okay, so above 90%, the rate of transpiration, it is seen through the stomatal opening, and we are seeing where the stomata they are situated. But we have to know the what is the structure of the stomatal apparatus, and then we have to understand how the opening and closing of stomata, and that opening and closing of stomata, it is concerned with the gases exchange. Okay, and also it is concerned with the transpiration process. Okay, so for that we have to know first the structure of the stomatal apparatus. So see, the structure of stomatal apparatus. Okay, structure of the stomatal. What is the structure of stomatal apparatus? Means what? The structure of stomata. So that stomatal apparatus, they are having the three main parts. The first one, it is the three parts. Okay, three parts. The first part is the guard cells. Okay, second part is the opening. Okay, opening, or that opening, it is also called as a stoma. Okay, and that opening, it is called as a stoma. And the third part of stomatal apparatus, it is the subsidiary cells. Okay, subsidiary cells, or that cell, it is also called as the accessory cells. So these are the three main parts of this stomatal apparatus. Let's see the one by one. The first one, the guard cells. So guard cells, the first part is guard cells. Okay, guard cells. See that guard cells, in case of dicot, okay, the guard cells, they are kidney shaped. Okay, that guard cells, they are kidney shaped, and that guard cells, they are the 2 in number. Okay, they are kidney shaped and they are 2 in number. Okay, so these are the kidney shaped guard cells. So these are the kidney shaped guard cells. Okay, they are 2 in number. So you remember this one. Then this, in case of monocot, okay, in case of the monocot, the guard cells, they are dumbbell shaped. Okay, guard cells, they are dumbbell shaped. So you know that what is the structure of dumbbell. Okay, so in case of the monocot, the guard cells, they are dumbbell shaped. So these are the guard cells in case of monocot. So in case of monocot, they are dumbbell shaped. Dumbbell shaped. Okay, they are dumbbell shaped. So such type of the guard cell, it is seen in case of the dicot and in case of the monocot. Then these guard cells, remember student, they are having the characteristic feature. As usual, the guard cells, they are living, they are having the nucleus. Okay, they are also having the nucleus. Okay, they are having the nucleus. So this is the position of the nucleus. As usual, this is the position of nucleus. And these guard cells, they also shows the presence of the chloroplast, few amount of the chloroplast. So these guard cells, they show a chloroplast. So the guard cells as usual, they shows a chloroplast. They show the few amount of the chloroplast. Okay, here is also they show a few amount of the chloroplast. Then these guard cells, they are having the characteristic wall thickening. Okay, they are having the characteristic wall thickening. The inner wall of guard cell. Okay, this inner wall. So this inner wall of guard cell. Okay, it is very thick. So this is the thick. Okay, thick inner wall. Thick inner wall. In this case also, the inner wall of this guard cell, okay, guard cell, it is thick. What is the inner wall, student? The wall which are directed towards this stomatal opening. So that wall, it is called as the inner wall, and inner wall, it is very thick. And this thick inner wall, what is the characteristic feature of this thick inner wall? This wall, it is inelastic. Okay, they are inelastic. Okay, this inner wall, it is inelastic in the sense they are not having the stretchability. Okay, they are unable to stretch. They are not elastic. Okay, they are not elastic. They are inelastic. Then the outer wall. Okay, this is the outer wall. Okay, this is the outer wall. Outer wall of this guard cell, and this is also a outer wall. Okay, outer wall of this guard cell. This outer wall, it is thin and it is a membranous. But what is the physical property? They are elastic. Okay, they are elastic. Okay, they are elastic in the sense they can be stretched. Okay, they can be stretched. When the cell become turgid during the opening of stomata, they get stretched, and because of that stretching property, or because of that elastic property of the outer wall, the stomatal opening, they get open. So how they get open, that part we will see afterwards. But you remember at this moment, the outer wall, it is thin and it is elastic, and inner wall, it is thick. Okay, inner wall, it is thick and it is inelastic. Okay, it is inelastic. So you remember this one. Then remember one the characteristic feature, it is noted in our textbook in case of the Cyperus. Okay, in case of the Cyperus. So in the Cyperus rotundus, म्हणजे आपण त्याला मराठीमध्ये लव्हाळा म्हणतो. लव्हाळा तुम्ही पाहिलेला असेल. तर लव्हाळ्यामध्ये ह्या दोन्ही प्रकारच्या गार्ड सेल्स रिपोर्टेड आहेत. म्हणजे किडनी शेप्ड गार्ड सेल आणि डंबेल शेप्ड गार्ड सेल, ह्या दोन्ही प्रकारच्या गार्ड सेल ह्या लव्हाळ्यामध्ये रिपोर्टेड आहेत. हे लक्षात घ्या. सो दिस विल बी आस्क्ड इन युअर MCQs वेअर the two types of the guard cells are reported. I think it is asked in your exercise which are given at the end of topic. There it is asked where or in which plant the two types of the guard cells are reported. It is reported in case of the Cyperus species. In case of the Cyperus म्हणजे लव्हाळ्यामध्ये आपल्याला दोन्ही प्रकारचे गार्ड सेल्स दिसतात. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट part of this stomatal apparatus. This is the guard cells. Okay. Then the second part, it is the stoma. Okay, it is the stoma. What is the stoma? The stoma means it is the opening developed by the stomatal apparatus. Okay, opening developed by the stomatal apparatus, and that opening, it is elliptical in shape. Okay, they are elliptical. So that opening, so this opening, it is called as the stoma. Okay, this is the stoma, and this opening, okay, in this dicot, this opening, it is called as a stoma, and this stoma, that opening, it is elliptical. Okay, that opening, it is a elliptical opening. Okay, that opening, it is a elliptical. Okay, elliptical opening. Elliptical opening means what? This opening, it is longer than broad. Okay, it is longer than broad, and such a type of the opening, it is developed because of the specific arrangement of this guard cell. Because of the specific arrangement of the guard cell. Here is also this opening, it is much longer than the broader. So such a type of the opening, it is called an elliptical opening, and this elliptical opening, it is developed because of this specific arrangement of the guard cell, and that opening, they helps for the gases exchange and the release of water in the form of water vapor during the transpiration. So this is this second part of this stomatal apparatus. Then the third part. What is the third part? It is the subsidiary cells or the accessory cells. These subsidiary cells or the accessory cells. Remember, these cells, they are the specialized epidermal cells. Okay, these are the specialized epidermal cells. So these subsidiary cells or these accessory cells, see, these are called these are the specialized. Okay, specialized epidermal cells. Okay, these are the specialized epidermal cells. So remember. And that specialized epidermal cells, they are present all along the side of this guard cell. So suppose this is in case of the dicot, they are situated. Okay, in case of the dicot. So but I want to remove this all the labels. So this by keeping the entire guard cells as it is. Okay, see, we have to show here the position of the accessory cells or the subsidiary cells. Okay, accessory cells or the subsidiary cell. So in case of dicot, these are the specialized epidermal cells. Okay, they are situated all along the side of the guard cells. Okay, they are situated all along the side of guard cells. So these are called as the, yes it is, they are called as the subsidiary cells or they are also called as the accessory cells. Okay, so remember student, why they are called as the accessory cells or the subsidiary cells? Because this cell, they never take part directly in exchange of gases mechanism. Okay, or they never take part directly in release of water in the form of water vapor. But remember student, though they never take part directly, but they shows their indirect role. Okay, they shows their indirect role. So because of this, the name is given accessory cells. Okay, the name is given accessory cells. Why the name is given accessory cells? Because they shows the indirect role in the gases exchange and opening or and closing of stomata. So these are the subsidiary cells. So all these are the subsidiary cells, and these subsidiary cells, remember student, they are variable in number. They are not having the fixed number. Okay, they are not having the fixed number. In case of monocot, the cells, they are parallelly arranged. Okay, cells, they are parallelly arranged. So like this way, they are situated. Okay, So here this is a situation of the subsidiary cells in case of the monocot. Okay, in case of monocot, this is the position of subsidiary cells. Okay, you remember these are the subsidiary cells which are situated all along the side of this the guard cells. Okay, so remember student, and one more characteristic feature of the subsidiary cell is that these subsidiary cells, they act as a reservoir of the potassium ion. Okay, they act as a reservoir of the K plus ion. So they show the presence of the maximum amount of the potassium ion. So it shows the potassium ion. They are having the K plus ion, potassium ion. So this potassium ion, they plays a most important role as far as the increase of the osmotic concentration of the guard cell. Okay, osmotic concentration of the guard cells during the opening of the stomata. So these subsidiary cells, they act as a reservoir of the potassium ion. So student, I think you understand well what is the structure of the stomatal apparatus, and this stomatal apparatus they are having the three main parts. There is a guard cells, stoma, and the subsidiary cells. So together they form this stomatal apparatus, and you know that stomatal apparatus they plays a most important role as far as the transpiration in the plant body is concerned. So through this stomatal apparatus, near about the 90 to 93% of the water loss in the form of water vapor it is seen in the plant body. So with this student we will stop at this moment.